See how the sound is? We got sound. Let me see if I could get better sound. All right, let's go with this. Good morning, everybody. Making a joiner plane today. And so what we got is everything I'm doing today is going to be based off this plane that I have here. I didn't get into who made it or how old it is, but it's the largest joiner plane I have. And I made a couple of smaller ones in the past. Those were some of my first planes. I have a very nice blank that'll be able to accommodate this one. So we're going to use it as a master, take some lines off of it. And I don't dare use this one. It's in really good shape. So I'll be able to use this one. So let me put this to the side. And I got some layout lines on here. As we go through, I'll be able to show everybody what I have. Let's see, how's this look? This is pretty solid, right? Yep. Hopefully the camera doesn't bounce around too much. And so the first thing I want to do is pierce. This is the bottom of the plane. The first thing I want to do is pierce the bottom of the plane and bore some holes, excavate it a little bit, and then I'll start doing all the chopping from the top. do. Okay. Let's see what I got here. plank is about 4 years old. It's been drying for 4 years. So it's real dry. This wood is real crispy. So far, so good. Yep, it's a joiner plane. Here's the original. It's a 26-inch joiner plane. And I'm not going to be using this, but I'm going to be copying it. So in my previous videos, you saw me work on the blade. You saw me work on the tote. You saw me talk about keeping these things straight and flat and square and all that other good stuff. So now everything's ready and I want to make the plane. So you open the watch, participate, ask questions, comment, like, subscribe, whatever you like. It's all good. Hey, Chirpy. No, this ain't a Godzilla plane. This is a 26-inch joiner plane, much smaller than the Godzilla. The Godzilla is over 50. Yeah, Cooper planes. Yeah. I don't know if the Cooper planes have totes though, because they're stationary. So the Godzilla plane actually has what I call a 5-finger tote. It's oversized. So there you go. But this will be a usable joiner plane, and you'll see me use it in other projects. That's what it's for. And I have the original. It's in great shape, and I would never use it. I don't do that. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I think I've seen some film of them being used. They're really cool. And I believe some of them are bigger than the Godzilla plane that I have. They might be well over 4 feet. So, but I'm not a Cooper. So, but that's really cool. The V Groove plane. It's going to be part of a really involved project. I really don't want to discuss it because it's gonna be a lot of work. I don't know if I could film it or how I would present it. So for now, it is going to be part of another project, but it's it's not on my schedule. Let me tell you what it is, what the project is, if you're interested in. Are you interested in what the project would be for the V Groove plane? Well, even if you're not, okay. So my dear uncle, who passed away about 3 years ago, went to Africa in 1970, and he stayed there in East Africa for 14 months. And when he returned to the United States, he brought back 3 original Maasai warrior spears, and I have them. 2 of them took lions, and I want to make a display case or something. I haven't really designed it yet, but that's what I have in mind for the V Groove plane. So it's a long ways off because it's just going to be involved. I don't know if there's going to be carvings in it, exactly what the design is going to be. I don't even really know if I'm going to actually build it or not, but it involves displaying original Maasai warrior spears. They're beautiful, and they came from Africa. They were my uncle's. They're dear to me and my family, and the V Groove plane would be part of a build so that we could display them. And it's just too far off for me to really talk about it because it's right now it's just an idea. They deserve to be displayed rather than just leaned up against the wall or in a corner. But that's all about. Here you go. Here's one of them. These are handmade. These are given to African boys when they turn, well, I'm not sure what age they get them, but once they become young men and they receive a spear, they got to prove their manhood. And this is how they do it. They use a spear. And two of these took lions. So back to the joiner plane. I thought the V groove plane was a good project. And when I saw that plank, I just thought it fit. I just thought it fit the project. That's another one of my original antique planes that I would never use. So even if I don't actually have a plan for using it, it fits into the theme of what I've been doing, because I would never use any of my originals. I have a couple of planes that are like, I don't know, over 140 years old. And they look like they're brand new. So we just copied them. There was a collector out of Pennsylvania who passed away a couple of years ago, and his daughter had an estate sale, and he collected planes for like 50 years, and I bought about 90% of the collection. So, but it mixed in with the collection is some really nice stuff, and I would just never use them. So that's why I copied them. Wow. Yeah, I can't cast bronze in my kitchen. You're lucky. Yeah. All right. So, do you ever use the core box plane? Did you make your own? How'd you like my video? That's a pattern maker's plane. Which is why you don't see them in the garage sales and the eBay and stuff like that. You really don't see them because the woodworkers were really not using them. The furniture makers. Cool. Yeah, wow. Rosewood. Yeah. See that. See, if I had that, if it was an original and it was 100 years old, I wouldn't use it, and I'd be making my own core box plane anyway. But that's all right. Yeah. Yeah, the table saw is the way to go. I made some crown cutting the coves with a table saw about 20 years ago. Came out real nice. I made it out of American chestnut. It's a good way to do it. It's safe, handy. Did you see me make the round plane in my last series, the 1 inch round plane with the yeah. You're allergic to sawdust. Yeah. Oh, that's a killer. Um, well, if it's any consolation, like my 8 inch table saw, I only use it outside. I don't use it indoors. So um, the other thing I suggest, if you're not already doing that, is try wearing a full face shield. Um, in some circumstances, they're better, they're more comfortable, and they're safer than goggles and conventional eye protection. And what I like about the full face shield is that even if you're wearing a dust mask, um, yeah, well, when you're using, yup. So I've done stuff where there were no chips; it was dust only. But the full face shield is really going to help you. It helped me because it just gets everywhere, even with the dust mask on. So that might benefit you. And of course, working outside, and if you can get a compressor with an air blower, have that handy. So when you're done, you blow yourself off, and you don't bring the contamination into the house. And there's a happy medium between killing yourself with the dust and not doing any work. Just sit in front of the computer and do nothing. You got to work. You got to keep busy. So you innovate. So you like the Hollow and Round series? Yep, I had a blast doing it. I thought it was going to be a good one. I went back and looked at the original, and it was only 40 minutes or so. And I said, you know what? I could probably do hours just on that. Let me just go through. And of course, I combined it with a couple of live streams. The main intent of doing that series was to sort of debunk any myths that might be out there that they're too difficult to make, or that you need fancy equipment, or whatever. Whatever thoughts you have in your head that can't be done, because I did it, and I did it practically with nothing. So anybody else could do them. It's not a big deal. And then from those planes, you could make your own OG planes. You could make your moldings. And once you get your feet wet doing that, you go on to other stuff. This is like a beginner plane. This would be just a handy plane to have. And mostly used to make other planes. Pretty much it, for me anyway. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Good luck, man. That sounds really complicated. See, one of the disadvantages I would have trying something like that is I don't have anything I could copy off of. So if I tried that, I would have to basically invent it and then build it. And the learning curve was probably pretty steep. Um, I'm really not a believer in doing something like that, because I would just make the individual planes instead of a combination plane. Um, it's really not the way I've ever gone. And I think what happens is they kind of become, and I don't mean any disrespect, but yeah, okay, if you're going to design it yourself. I didn't know something like that didn't exist, but some of the ones I've seen, the Stanleys with the universal, you put the inserts in and everything, they look like they're gimmicks. They look like they were great for Saturday afternoon tinkerers who, decided to pry themselves away from the TV in the 50s or 60s and have a go at making some molding or something, but they were gimmicks. There were no professionals that were using them. They had their own dedicated planes to do the job, not all in one combination things. So I generally don't, I just would never probably ever use one myself. But hats off to you if you could design and build something like that. That's really something else. That's what it's all about. You innovate. Wow. Wow. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds real old school. Just make everything fit in one toolbox. Yeah, if you see the cases, you'll see the way everything's stacked. Yup, that was the whole idea. See, the key back then was your skills. You didn't need you didn't need to have a giant, unwieldy setup. You needed something that was small and compact, but you needed the skills. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. You got a you got a YouTube channel? I'll check your stuff out. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you should. Cool. All right. I will be checking your channel out, Chirpy. That sounds fucking cool. And I will tell you that I hardly watch any other channels. Wow. So you must know the work of Keith Rucker. He's one of the few people I watch religiously. And the only reason I watch his stuff is because I don't know anything about what he does. So everything I see him do is something that I learn. I don't watch any other woodworkers, and I won't get into why, but machining, all that old school stuff, the forging. I watch a couple of yeah, he's a great. I'm sure he's a great guy. The other person I follow two knife makers. I follow Drew Lininger, who's out of Montana, and he works with Will Stelter, who's also like their neighbors. And Will Stelter came out of Alex Steele from England, and they're just really talented knife makers. I've dabbled in it, but all the stuff they're doing, like I said, you watch their channels. I just learn everything I see them do is something that I learn, and that's what I want. And that's why I don't watch any woodworking channels because I I get nothing out of those channels. Watching a woodworking channel would just take away my time from my work. So how do you drive? How do you drive your belts? Wow. I don't know what a repulsion motor is. Wow. All right. Well, I'll see that when I look at your channel. Holy cow. That's fucking cool. Where are you out of, if you don't mind me asking? Where do you work? Are you in the States? Let's see. I'm gonna guess you're in the Rust Belt, Ohio. You're kidding me. Wow. I'm gonna have to buy myself some. That was a good guess. Yeah. I'll tell you, tooling history in the United States is fascinating. I tell you, it's a big subject. It's a big, big subject. I'm sure you know a lot about it, more about it than me, but I'll tell you. It's fascinating. The other day I saw them pull I saw them pull the USS Texas into Galveston Harbor, into a dry dock. And you start thinking about all the tool work that went into that, all the weapons, all the, the artillery, the guns, the engines, everything about that battleship. And when it was made before World War One. I mean, you had some ass kickers that were building those ships. And even the Europeans that went before them back in the 1800s. These were tough people. And you had engineers that had to make the tools so that those ass kickers could use those tools to build the ships. And I'm fascinated by it. Wrought iron, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I wonder if I have any old blades like that. I'd have to really look. Can you see that with the naked eye? Or do you need a magnifying glass for that? I think maybe I have one blade that might be like that. Naked eye. Okay. Now, in your opinion, how good were those blades? In terms of the equivalency of the stuff that you see me use, which is the O1 tool steel. What's what would you say pound for pound is the equivalency with the best blade made that way and somebody that knew what they were doing, knew how to sharpen it at that time, and knew how to set the blade? How does that square up with what we're doing now with O1 tool steel with the stuff you see me make? I'd be real interested in your opinion on that. Because I think we have a tremendous advantage. Okay. See, if you remember, and I think it was the final part of the Hollow and Round series, I made a statement about the planes in my collection that are still in very good condition, almost unused after 14 decades, 15 decades. And my theory is that the reason they're in such good shape was because the steel was no good, the skills weren't there to sharpen it, the tools and materials were not there to sharpen those blades properly, and they didn't realize that they had to be set and shaped in a way that allowed them to make a super fine cut so that they could actually use the plane. And that's why a lot of them are in such good shape, because they were never used. That's my theory. Okay. Now there's another interesting phenomenon which probably people don't really give much thought to, but I had a really old plane. I thought about using it when I first got it. It was a piece of junk, really, and no matter what I did, I couldn't set the iron to make a fine cut. It would have had to be totally reshaped. So I thought to myself, why is that? How could it be that this iron, no matter what you do, does not fit this plane? There's only one reason why. The plane shrunk. It dried out. And the reason it dried out was because the plane makers were using. No, it wasn't that. It was the profile, because it was a molding plane. So the problem was that the profile of the plane and the profile of the iron would not match, no matter how I set the iron. The reason why is because the iron was shaped when the plane was new, and once it dried out, it didn't work anymore. So if you bought a plane like that and you had it a few years and you didn't realize what happened, you'd be stuck. You couldn't use it. And there was a period of time where they started mass producing planes. And that's where you get into the plane irons and all that other good stuff. And then they switched over to the transitional planes, the iron planes. So the point I was trying to make was that when they began mass producing planes, there was no way they could dry the stock properly. No way. They were making stock with blanks that weren't dry properly. And that's why you have shrinkage and checking in a lot of these old planes. And that's why you'll find that some of the irons don't fit properly, because the entire body of the plane shrunk. Yep. Yeah, the only thing I can really get my hands on locally, reliably anyway, is maple. There's plenty of maple. Apple sounds real nice. I know they make planes out of that. Beech, I don't think I'll ever see a beech. Black locust, yeah. I got my hands on some a few years ago. I made some framing chisels out of them. Yeah, good for you, man. That's fucking cool. Yeah, there was a lot of big plane makers in Ohio. You had Sandusky. A couple of the other ones, I think, all came out of Ohio. Well, Sandusky is, does it really? Wow. Okay. All right, I've connected the bottom of the plane to the opening that I made in the top. So let's see, an hour and a half plus my gathering. I'm making good time, having fun. Let's see, open this up a little bit more, and then we'll start. So can everybody see what I got so far? Right? So it's open. It's open to the bottom. And I got the beginnings of this line right here, this almost vertical line, which is the throat. And then up here, I have most of what this line is, which is what I call the mouth. So now what I'm going to start doing is really defining these lines and making everything converge. Wow. Cool. Wow. Good luck with all that. That's cool. Yeah, I don't have the facilities to do anything like that. That's cool. Okay, let's see where I'm at with this. Oh, I appreciate that offer. You're very generous. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. That would be a dream come true. I appreciate that offer. That's incredible. Okay. Now I'm going to set up the hacksaw. Since I'm all the way through the mouth and I have a clear path, so I'm going to run the hacksaw blade through the opening. And then assemble the frame around the plane. This is really a crappy. This is really a crappy frame. I should really use my better frame. This is just a piece of junk. It's a piece of junk. It's junk. Yeah, coping saw is a little light. You want that line through here to stay straight. Yeah, there should be a better way. The problem with this is I do this once every couple of years, and I don't have like anything that's really reliable for doing this. I usually do a hacksaw frame. I have a better hacksaw frame, and I should always use a brand new blade for it. I think that blade was from metal. It's probably like, that might be more than 18 teeth per inch, which is too fine for this. Take care. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you for chatting and participating. I appreciate it. Thank you for your offer. I'm going to check your channel out. Have a good day. Thank you. I wonder if I should just use floats from here on in. It's going to be too much work. Let's see. Maybe. Howdy. You're very welcome, Alex. It's my pleasure. You making planes? That's a good question, Alex. One of the reasons why, the main reason why, is because not enough people watch the videos. And what I do is I check the videos quite often when I allow the comments, and there aren't enough comments and enough activity for each video to make it worthwhile. It's much easier for me to disable the comments so that it's less work. I have like 40 videos, and if comments come up, I feel like it's appropriate for me to check the comments 4 or 5 times a day, and it's just too much work. And a lot of times, days will go by before somebody makes a comment, and that means that I spent a lot of time checking comments for nothing. So when I get enough activity on the videos, then I'll enable the comments. Until then, it's really a waste of time. And I agree with you. It's a good place to exchange ideas, but the audience is too small. And that's just the way it is. It's a fact of life. But I thank you for your question, because it's a very good question. I hope I answered it in a way that makes sense. Like, for instance, I have a video that's got, let's say, 6,000 views, but it's 2.5 years old. If I was to get 6,000 views in a week, then I could take the time and address the comments. But it would be work that would take place within a week. If it takes me 6,000 views in 2.5 years, I can't spend all that time checking the comments and replying. It's just too much work. So the videos are not successful enough to make that kind of effort worthwhile, unfortunately. There's a lot of cat videos. I'm in competition with all the cat videos. And cat videos are very popular on YouTube. So that's just the way it works. It's all right. If there are questions you have, you could ask me now. You could also ask me on any of the other videos that do have. I think I have 3 or 4 videos that have comments on them. So, or you just have to be patient and wait until for another live stream or whatever. Wait until there's a couple of thousand views on a video. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to work. How many sets of hollows and rounds did I wind up making? Let's see. In the first series, well, that wasn't the series. It was just one video. I made those were the small ones. I think I made 6 of them: 3/8, 7/16, and a ½ inch. Those were three of each size hollow, 3 of each size round. And then in the last series, I made just 1 pair, and it was 1 inch. So I'm not working towards a set. I've been doing random sizes. I'll probably build the rest, any of the other ones that I might need based on what I need them for. In terms of YouTube content, I think I pretty much, beat the horse into the ground with hollows and rounds. I think everybody pretty much has a definitive explanation of what they are and how to make them. That's all right, Alex. Thank you. Your English is fine. In terms of any finish, what I do is I pretty much use what I call a hand finish, like this one right here. This has just got the grime and the sweat from my hands. So I haven't really finished any planes. But it's a good question. I really don't know what to use. So I don't put anything on, to be honest. But maybe I should. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. That's all right. What else do I make besides planes? Furniture. Um, if you well, you didn't see me make a dining room table, but the lumber that I took for the grandmother's chairs was also used to make a dining room table. And of course, besides planes, you see me make tools. I made the baker's peel, which I use when I make pizza. If you saw the show and tell device that I made, that's for a whole other thing that I do that I don't film. My background is primarily furniture, but I've pretty much built all the furniture. My whole house is filled with furniture. I got more than enough furniture, and I've been building furniture for almost 50 years. So I've done everything I need to do. There's no more ground for me to break with furniture. So, and I have work on both coasts and all over the country, and I've worked for the some of the most exclusive clients in the United States. So I'm done with all that, and now I want to have fun and build stuff for myself. So planes for me is where it's at. That's a real good question. It's both in a way. I make the planes so that I could in some cases use them to do other stuff as a tool, but I also like them as projects. I think they're really challenging. To me, they're like little handmade machines, hand-operated machines. The blades, the wedges, the shape of the planes, the geometry. I'm really fascinated by how they work and what they are in terms of woodworking projects. And if you think about the time when they were really popular, you had a population of furniture makers and woodworkers that needed the planes, and you also had a population of plane makers that were just as busy, just as talented, just as creative, that were making the planes for their brothers and sisters that worked in the shops. And I just find it a fascinating part of woodworking history. And if you know anything about the history of furniture making, you know that in the 1700s and the 1800s, they were making some really beautiful stuff. And they built them with really what we have now, compared to what we have now, primitive tools. So I'm just trying to have fun with it all, you know? I don't have access to a shop. My work area is in my kitchen. So it all, building planes also fits into my lifestyle situation. As much as I enjoy making furniture, it's really not appropriate for how I'm living right now. And sometimes making planes is inappropriate, but at least it's doable. Well, I got more. I already have more planes than I could use. Most of them are antiques. I have about, I don't know, like 160 or 170 of the antiques. And then I have maybe 40 that I built on my own. And that's way more than I need. But I need stuff to do and keep busy. And it's what I like to do. This is how I have fun. So could think of worse things to do. So the old ones that I have are just too valuable to use. So I try and copy them and keep them to the side. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I got some cuts on the abutments, which you can see. I won't stick my fingers in there. I got the throat. It's all pretty much rough. So now it's just a question of trying to connect the lines and finalizing the shape. Being careful not to take away too much wood in one spot. So let's see what I got now. I'm very happy with the ripsaw I made. I made 3 of them. So you see the first 2 I made in the video, and then the monster one that I made, it cuts really, really good. And it does cut faster. Definitely cuts faster. The key to it is really you got to get used to it because the teeth are so large that it doesn't cut smoothly. I don't know if that makes any sense. But you really can't do the kind of work that I want to do, which is rip through a log with fine teeth. there's really no need for it, especially when that saw cut is going to be obliterated by all the other tooling that you do. You're really only using it as like a rough monster to divide the log up. So you don't need a finer tooth saw because you don't care about how rough it cuts. You really care about the speed. And the speed comes from the big teeth. So I'm glad I made it. And I wanted to do that for the longest time. I had that saw blank for about 3 or 4 years, and I knew it was unusable. It was never going to be a crosscut saw because it was ruined. So I've really only used it for one project, and I've already got my money's worth out of it. And the real value might be that I showed everybody how to make one, and that could be something that endures for a while, long after I stop making videos. All right, Walter, take care. Thank you. Have a good day. work a little bit faster. Where the fuck is this fucking thing? Shouldn't shake. It's not connected to the table. Why does it shake? Fuck. this one. This one's going to be tuned up. All right. Get you. All right, I'm running out of steam. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your first name. Ayo. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. Subscribe if you want. Hello to everybody else. I don't know how long you've been hanging with me. I want to thank you for spending part of your morning or your afternoon with me. There's more to go. I'm maybe a little bit around halfway done, a little bit more than halfway done. There's still a lot to do. So far, so good. No mistakes. Let me show everybody what I did. So I got the throat really well defined. And you could see what I do is, so these lines that are on the bottom represent the full width of the blade. So I don't want any slop down here. I don't want this blade shifting side to side. So I'm going to eventually, once I start getting some really good angles in here, I'm going to start working with the blade and fitting the blade to the body of the plane so there's no slack in it. That's the idea anyway. So that's that. And then up here, I have the same width up in here. Again, I'm going to fit it to the size of the plane. So I'm real close right now. And I'm going to keep this pocket parallel to the sides of the plane. So the point that I have up here is going to be connected to the point that I just showed you down below, and they're going to be connected in a straight line. So I'll begin tooling it so that I take away all the lumps that are inside this wedge pocket. And then that way the blade should pass freely into the body of the plane all the way down to where it's going to sit when it's under the pressure of the wedge. And then I'll start tuning the abutments. I'm going to lay those out so that those will be trimmed parallel, and then I'll shape the throat and the mouth. And then there's the little decorative piece up on top. So It's not the next part of the work is not the smashing and the chiseling and all that other nasty stuff. It's all the fine tuning, because the work done from here on in is what's going to determine the final look of the plane and how the plane performs. So I'll get into a few more of those other happy things when the time comes. I'll probably get back to this maybe tomorrow. Who knows? But in the meantime, everybody, you know what to do. Stay strong, because there's a lot of work to do.